All right, so real quick here, this week we got the throttle body, which was actually really nice. It was a lot better than I expected it to be for an old used throttle body. It was nice and clean. I didn't really have to do much cleanup to it at all. I pulled the IAC off and cleaned the seat where the rubber stopper rests against it just to make sure it seals good. I had to grind this corner to clear the water pump, just a little bit, about 1/16 of an inch or so. And the factory throttle bodies come with hard to see here, but they come with a water passage that goes to the bottom. This is one side. That was okay. That didn't cause any problems. The other side I had to cut off because apparently this water pump isn't meant for that kind of throttle body, because that was right in the way. And our adapter came, which adapts from the 4-bolt throttle by wire to the 3-bolt throttle by cable throttle body. And just to reiterate here, here's our other throttle bodies. This is the one we were using. So this is what came with the engine. It's a newer throttle by wire, which is driven by a motor. So our fuel injection does not support that, so we couldn't use it. So I got this cheapy one off of eBay for 65 bucks. And it's a lot bigger. This is a 92, as you can see. I believe this is an 85 millimeter, and the stock one, the stock used one I put on, is 75 millimeter, I believe. So it's a good bit smaller than this, but so far it works better. And you can see one of the differences is this outer hole is not much different than the inner hole. So you don't get a lot of Venturi effect through there. So that could be one of the problems. The factory ones, they go through a lot of trouble to get things like idle quality and everything correct. So for what we're trying to do, this should be better. You can see they even have a little hole in the throttle plate there. And I managed to stretch this on there. So this is a little smaller than 4-inch, which is what our air filter pipe is there. So this actually came with the cheapy K&N air filter. So I heated it up and stretched it on there. Now I'll have to probably heat this elbow up and stretch that on there. This is kind of what it looked like. This is a smaller one. It came as, I guess they're kind of adapters, so you can get that air filter on there. So that's about done. I had to make a new throttle cable clamp. I just used a 1/4-inch bolt and drilled a couple holes in it and tapped one for, this is a 832 bolt. So it clamps the cable. So it'll hold on to it since this is throttle by cable. And earlier this week we got our shifter mounted permanently. I'm still impressed with how this works. I ended up putting a through bolt down lower, and this is still just a big clamp bolt. But yeah, it gives you a little more height on the shifter, which gets it closer to the steering wheel, and it's really solid now. I mean, it is just fantastic feeling. And just to reiterate on that, I guess I might not have explained it really well, but there's a company called Only 944, and they're up in New England, and a guy named Kyle runs the place, and they make all kinds of nice little things for 944s. One of the things they make is the shifter, which has Torrington bearings in the side of it. I don't know if you've seen the inside of one of these things, but it was just rubber and washers and stuff, so it can get its full range of motion. And they also make a kit for the back that gets rid of all the rubber shortens the throw by 30%, and it's all solid, nicely machined aluminum and steel, and a rod end for that connection that goes over the side of the transaxle. So it shortens the shift by 30% and really tightens everything up. And like I said, I forget how much it was. It was pre-pandemic when I bought mine, and for both kits, the one that goes in the front here and the one that goes in the transaxle in the back, I don't think it was more than 150 bucks for everything. So way well worth it. Really good quality stuff. All right, well, we're going to finish this up and we'll see if we can go for a drive a little later. All right, so we've got our new old throttle body on there, and our adapter plate to make it work, and our awesome new shifter, which really didn't cost us anything, which was just using a couple of bolts and getting rid of all this rubber stuff inside the shifter itself. So it's nice and solid now. It is a pleasure to shift now. You can, I mean, it's still an old German transaxle, so you have to be careful with you know, getting it into certain gears, especially second. But you can actually feel what it's doing now, so it's a huge improvement. And as far as our new old throttle goes, I had it out this morning. I got it adjusted pretty good. You have to adjust the throttle stop in conjunction with the idle air controller, so it ends up at a very, when it just sits there idling, it ends up at a very low percentage of the idle air controller, which is the spec is about 8%, something like that. So, and it was somewhere around 10 or 12, so that was good enough. We may have to tweak that a little bit, but it's pretty good. And this morning when I had it out, I did get a chance to go through a parking lot in first gear very slowly. And no, we didn't eliminate that bouncing back and forth that it does when you try to go slow, like, you know, 1200 RPM in a gear, but it is noticeably reduced. So it's not as violent as it was. I think the only other thing we can do about that is put a heavier flywheel on it. This has a pretty light steel flywheel on it right now. And that definitely contributes to it. I didn't realize that at the time, you know, being that this thing's basically got the drive shaft that acts as like a 6-foot long input shaft to the transaxle. So it's 25 centimeters in diameter, which is like that. So it's not really thick, so it does have a lot of torsional spring to it when you get on and off the throttle, like that. But that's what we have, so that's what we have to live with. But I mean, the car still runs great. We're at we're at the point where it's there's not a whole lot of other things to screw around with. Just do some normal maintenance items, and we're about done. It's a shame it's late October now, so we missed 944 Fest out at Nelson Ledges. We missed all the Porsche Club of America track days that we could have gone to, and I don't think there's anything happening, you know, club-wise at Summit Point next month. I think you got SCCA there, but you know, no regular, just club guys with their regular cars going around the track. So well, there's always next year. The important thing is we got the car pretty well sorted out right now. It is really good. I mean, and again, the shifter, I can't, that is so it's such a stupid simple mod. I can't believe that it worked out that well. I mean, it is really just ridiculously simple. I'm not sure why they put all this rubber in the shift mechanism on these cars. Probably to keep it from being so notchy, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, it's this whole shifter train right now is all nice solid metal and bearings from here all the way back to the little thing that sticks out of the trans, the shift rod. So it's really good. I am really digging it. This was the last piece of the puzzle for shifter goodness. And I love that it's this high now. I'd like it a little higher, so you have more of a quick transition from steering wheel to shifter. But hey, this is plenty good enough. Okay, let's do some heel toe downshifting. Here we go. Fourth to third, third to second. There you go. I mean, it works great. I love it. Let's do a little acceleration run here from second. Ready? That's when it's really fun. Blasting through these turns. Amazing. I know. You can't feel the G's in the turn, so you can't really appreciate it on the video. But let me tell you, it's trying to throw you out of the seat when you're going around a turn, and you can put that much power down from the engine, even at low RPMs. That's what's nice about having the 6-liter V8. You can you don't have to have the engine up on the rev limiter to get through the turns fast. You can be doing it at, 3,500 RPMs, 4,000 RPMs or whatever, and it's still pushing the car really hard through the turns. One more time. Maybe one more time. And it just goes right back down to idle. So this is set up pretty good. We have to keep slowing down for the, the places where people live and stuff. It is Halloween. And there's probably a lot of Halloween activity going on. Through the turn. A little bit of a wiggle. But yeah, it's... this car, it's pretty much everything I thought it would be now. I don't know what else to say. It's a crazy car. It feels great to drive. And it is fast as hell. Have to keep from breaking stuff, because that's normally what happens. Once you get it all sorted out, then something breaks. I hope not. I'll try to take it a little easy, but it's a lot of fun, so it's hard to take it easy. All right, so that was a ride in our 6-liter LS powered 944. It's all there now. It's pretty incredible to drive. Big brakes certainly help a lot. Better than going with the Hydro Boost. You get much better pedal feel out of like real brakes that aren't boosted. Yeah, it takes more effort, but it's worth it. And that's a pretty inexpensive way to go, using the 996 fronts. I believe they're 996 turbo ones that you can get that will go on here, but I mean, you're talking about like $5,000 for a brake conversion. This was, well, I guess with the pads it was easily less than $1,000. But I had to convert this car to the naturally aspirated front spindles because the adapter that Renegade Hybrids makes is actually for the naturally aspirated cars, not the turbos with the turbo brakes like this had on it. So But yeah, I mean, it runs great. The shifter is great now. The steering is great. The engine's great. The handling's great. The stopping's great. I don't know what else to say. It's it's really pretty amazing. Now we just have to keep from breaking stuff and tend to the normal 30-plus-year-old car problems that these things tend to have.